A new chapter in global trade warfare is unfolding as President Donald Trump doubles down on tariffs aimed at three of America's biggest trading partners: Mexico, Canada, and China. With steep levies set to take effect on March 4th, businesses, investors, and policymakers worldwide are bracing for potential economic turbulence. While the administration touts these tariffs as a necessary step to curb illegal drug trafficking and create a fairer trade landscape, critics warn of rising consumer prices, potential retaliatory measures, and market volatility. As the deadline looms, the world watches anxiously to see how this high-stakes trade battle will unfold. Donald Trump has reaffirmed his decision to impose significant tariffs on goods from Mexico, Canada, and China, with the first round of levies set to take effect on March 4th. The announcement, made Thursday on his Truth Social platform, confirms a 25% tariff on Mexican and Canadian imports and an additional 10% tariff on Chinese goods. The move has already sent ripples through financial markets, with investors weighing the economic impact of escalating trade tensions. Tariffs tied to drug and migration concerns. Trump justified the tariffs by linking them to illegal drug trafficking and migration issues. Drugs are still pouring into our country from Mexico and Canada at very high and unacceptable levels, Trump posted. "We cannot allow this scourge to continue to harm the USA, and therefore, until it stops or is seriously limited, the proposed tariffs scheduled to go into effect on March 4th will, indeed, go into effect as scheduled." The president has frequently tied trade policy to border security and fentanyl trafficking, positioning the tariffs as a tool to pressure America's neighbors into stricter enforcement measures. His statement comes amid Canada's newly launched Operation Blizzard, an initiative aimed at intercepting illegal contraband with a specific focus on fentanyl and other synthetic drugs. However, analysts warn that the trade restrictions could trigger economic retaliation and higher prices for American consumers. Market reactions and economic implications. Markets initially reacted negatively to Trump's tariff declaration, with Dow futures dropping 90 points in pre-market trading. However, after an initial slump, all three major U.S. stock indices rebounded, with the Dow rising by 0.5%, the S&P 500 climbing 0.3%, and the Nasdaq Composite gaining nearly 1%. The volatility underscores investor uncertainty surrounding the economic fallout of Trump's aggressive trade stance. If enacted, these tariffs raise the specter of retaliatory measures from Canada, Mexico, and China. China had previously responded to an initial 10% tariff by levying a 15% tax on U.S. exports, including coal and liquefied natural gas, alongside a 10% tariff on crude oil, agricultural machinery, and pickup trucks. Meanwhile, Canada has hinted at countermeasures, potentially targeting American-made products such as steel, furniture, bourbon, orange juice, and pet food. Some Canadian officials have even considered imposing a tax on energy exports to the U.S., a move that could significantly impact American industries. Tariff timelines and additional trade measures. Trump's latest remarks also sought to clarify confusion regarding the tariff implementation timeline. On Wednesday, during his first cabinet meeting, he mentioned April 2nd for everything, leading some to believe the Mexico and Canada tariffs were delayed beyond the previously announced 30-day pause. However, Thursday's post confirmed that the 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada and the additional 10% tariff on Chinese goods will take effect as planned on March 4th. Trump also reiterated that April 2nd remains a key date for the announcement of additional reciprocal tariffs. These tariffs aim to level the playing field by imposing equivalent duties on foreign countries that charge higher tariffs on U.S. exports. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick singled out Canada's 5% national sales tax, stating in a Fox News interview, "We're supposed to have a free trade agreement with Canada, but they have a 5% national tax. They cheat right down the middle, and the president is sick and tired of it." The global impact of reciprocal tariffs. Unlike the broad 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, or the flat 10% levy on Chinese imports, reciprocal tariffs are more complex in their implementation. In theory, they would mirror the tariffs and non-tariff fees that other countries impose on American goods. Trump has pushed to include value-added taxes, VAT, in these calculations, which could significantly increase the cost of imported goods from multiple nations. The president argues that tariffs will generate substantial revenue and help balance trade disparities. However, many economists caution that importers are likely to pass tariff costs on to consumers, exacerbating inflationary pressures. Given that Canada, Mexico, and China collectively account for approximately 45% of all U.S. imports, totaling $3.2 trillion in goods in 2022, the economic consequences of widespread tariffs could be profound. As the March 4th deadline looms, businesses and trade partners worldwide are bracing for potential disruptions. With the possibility of further tariff hikes after April 2nd, the U.S. may be heading toward one of the most aggressive trade policy shifts in recent history. The global economic landscape remains in flux as nations prepare for what could be a new era of trade conflict and negotiation. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.